Advancing Oceanside podcast. Today we will be learning about the work of the Oceanside Charitable Foundation. But first, a quick word about our sponsor, FrontWave Credit Union.
FrontWave Credit Union fights for their members, those dedicated to country and community, family and friends, for banking, lending, saving, planning, dream big. They got you. They're FrontWave Credit Union, and they've been making financial dreams come true since 1952. Check them out at frontwavecu.com.
Thank you for joining us for the Advancing Oceanside podcast. I'm your host, Scott Ashton, and today we'll be learning about the Oceanside Charitable Foundation, and we have with us Estella Mitrani and Colleen O'Hara, who is one of the board members. Welcome, Estella and Colleen. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Colleen, we're gonna start with you. I know you've been with the Charitable Foundation from the beginning. So, can you tell us a little bit about how Oceanside Charitable Foundation got its start?
Well, it started about 12 years ago. Tom Noonan and I were approached by the San Diego Foundation with an idea for starting an Oceanside Charitable Foundation. I had been involved in a couple of efforts many years ago to get a local foundation started, and it just never panned out. So I was a little skeptical in the beginning. But when we met with the San Diego Foundation representative, I fell in love with the model that they were proposing. And of course, they would back it up with staff help and with investment advice. In fact, they do invest our money for us and have done a wonderful job. But the model is where the members of the foundation pick an area of interest where they think the greatest need is in Oceanside. All the money that is raised locally stays locally. It gets granted out to local charitable foundations. So Tom and I agreed that would be a good idea. So we rounded up a bunch of our friends to join the board and to write checks. And the rest is history. We've been around now for 12 years and still going strong and doing great work in the community.
Great. So, Estella, can you tell us a little bit about your role with the organization and what kind of programs that you guys have supported?
Sure. Well, I am the regional affiliate manager of the Oceanside Charitable Foundation. And what Colleen mentioned, I am the staff that is provided by the San Diego Foundation. This, as Colleen mentioned, the San Diego Foundation really based this program after the San Diego Women's Foundation. So it's a pooled philanthropy model. And we have 8 different regional affiliates throughout San Diego, as far north as Escondido, as far east as Ramona, as far south as Chula Vista. And these 8 community foundations are really based on the idea of who knows what their community needs more than the people that live there, the people that live, work, and play in this community. And so that's really the idea behind the regional affiliate program. And it allows us to make an impact regionally, but most importantly, keep our charitable dollars within our community. And so the program has been highly successful. The Oceanside Charitable Foundation has granted over $650,000 back into the community over the last 13 years. Over 50 grants made to various nonprofits with all sorts of different focus areas. Every year the focus changes, as Colleen mentioned, so it could be anything from arts and culture, environment, students, health and human services. But not only that, which I think this is one of the most unique things about the foundation, is that half of your membership gets put into a piggy bank, if you will, and that's the endowment. The endowment is up to $430,000 now. And that's going to allow the Oceanside Charitable Foundation to have a lasting impact and really be here for years to come. That is Oceanside's savings account for the foundation. And what we hope is we'll get it up to a level, our goal is to get it up to a $5 million level that will make us less reliant on memberships, because memberships are really what keep us going and allow us to make the impact that we're making. But that endowment will basically allow us to just have, $50,000 guaranteed going back to the community every year. So yeah, that's basically the unique relationship between the San Diego Foundation and I think one of the, Colleen, correct me if I'm wrong, one of the biggest benefits is that 100% of your donation goes into grant making and into the endowment. So there's no staff being covered by the members, by the donors. That staff is being paid for and provided for by the San Diego Foundation. So you can really ensure that 100% of your dollars are really going back into the community.
Okay, so that's a good explanation of the relationship with the San Diego Foundation. I'm curious as to the level of independence that you have in deciding what programs you'll pursue. So, like, how do you decide who to grant funds to, and how does the grant working process work?
That is 100% up to the members of the Oceanside Charitable Foundation. Because like I said, who knows more what the community needs, but the people that live there and who care passionately about the community. And so every year, a focus survey goes out to the membership, and the membership it basically asks, what do you think we should focus on? What is it going on in our community right now? Where can we help? Where can we help fill those gaps? And so that survey goes out usually around summertime, and the results come back, and the grants committee, which are all volunteers, will review those results, and then they will come up with an RFP. And that request for proposal goes out to the community based on what the members feel is important, where the needs are in the community that year. And so the RFP goes out, nonprofits will apply. They submit their application, their proposal for their program, and the grants committee will review those applications. They read them, they score them. Then they will select those that they'd like to learn more about and go out on site visits. In the good old days, we used to actually go to the nonprofits and visit them and hear about what they'd like to do. Now we're right now going to begin the review process and do Zoom site visits. And we'll hear firsthand from the nonprofits, what will they be able to do with this funding? And then the grants committee comes back and picks the top winners, or the ones that they feel they'd like to fund, that really represent the members' wishes. And then that goes out, put on a ballot. And that ballot again goes out to the membership. For the membership to vote on. And if we have enough funding to fund everybody on the ballot, we will. In fact, I think last year we did. But it's a very democratic approach to philanthropy, and the members as a whole will select those that receive funding.
That's great information. I don't think I've been familiar with your organization for many years, but I don't think I had an understanding of how much you involve your members in that process. I had always thought it was like a committee, like a smaller committee. So it's great to hear the level of involvement that your members have.
Yeah, the vetting process, I think, is one of the most, to me, it's one of the most important factors of the Oceanside Charitable Foundation, and it's a very impressive, involved process. And I think a lot of our members, trust that process and say, hey, look, I trust that you guys are doing your due diligence, and I believe in the work that you're doing. And then some other members want to be very involved and want to vote and want to be part of the committees. And like Colleen says, we'll take your check, or we'll also have your involvement, either way.
So that's a great segue, Colleen, for our viewers that are interested in getting involved in the foundation and supporting the great work that you're doing. What are some options?
Well, our foundation is open to anyone who lives in Oceanside or who cares about Oceanside. You don't even have to live here. But it begins with writing a check for $1,000, half of which goes into immediate grant making that year, and the other half goes into the endowment fund. Fortunately for us, the grant portion of it is matched by another fund through the San Diego Foundation of the Matt McLaughlin Fund, who was a gentleman who passed away and left his estate to the foundation to help North County nonprofits. A lot of people think that to be part of a foundation, you have to be rich. Well, ours is a foundation for the common man. You don't have to be rich. You just have to be able to write a check for $1,000. We also have some corporate sponsorships, so businesses can jump on board and be part of our team. Anyone who's interested in joining the foundation can go to our website, oceansidecharitablefoundation.org, and it will give you all the information about being part of the organization. If writing a check for $1,000 is too big a bite at one time, we'll set up a payment plan for you. We'll take your money any way we can get it, because we do good work with it.
Absolutely. So Estella, getting back to you, what's the focus of this year's grant, and what's the time frame, and how's that all working?
Yeah, so this year's focus area, which is our 13th year, is really focused on promoting and fostering diversity and inclusion among high school kids in Oceanside. And so that RFP went out in October and it just closed. We received over, I think, 25 applications from different nonprofits with really cool ideas. And so we're in the process of reviewing those right now. Last year, for example, we focused on health and well-being of Oceanside residents, and we granted $84,500. That's how much we pooled, including the match that Colleen mentioned, to, I think, 6 different nonprofits. For example, Words Alive, $20,000 grant, Women's Resource Center, $21,000, Voices for Children, $15,000. So we are hoping, that was our largest year, our record-breaking year last year in grant making. We're hoping for something similar this year. We will see, fingers crossed. It'll be interesting to see. Our winners will be announced in May.
Okay. So you touched on something interesting, like last year was your biggest year ever, and you're hoping for the same this year. And I know, like I asked this question of most of our people that we interview, how have you been impacted by COVID? Is it impacting giving, impacting your ability to hold events, of course?
Absolutely. Yeah, it is all of the above. It is impacting giving, certainly. We're seeing people that members that are hurting and unable to renew this year, and that is fine. And then we also are seeing people that want to do more and want to, help in any way that they can. And so we have a vehicle for that, and we're able to assist them. We had a donor that really wanted to help Oceanside, an Oceanside Charitable Foundation member, with people that are having trouble paying rent. And so we were able to steward them and connect them with Interfaith Community Services that is doing incredible work in that space with a $15,000 grant towards that, specifically for people that are not able to make their rent. And so we're seeing nonprofits that are hurting greatly, that their operating budget is hurting as much as their programs, when their need is increasing. And then, like you said, events. We as a nonprofit are unable to do events, and that's really our bread and butter for getting new members and introducing the foundation to others, as well as other nonprofits not being able to have those fundraising events that are really one of their largest source of income throughout the year. And so, all of the above, and we're just trying our best to obviously, be able to serve where we can and, help our nonprofits in the best way we know how, which is through our pooled philanthropy model. So.
Great. So, well, again, I've been able to watch the great work that you guys have done over more than a decade, and I know that people will want to get involved. So can you just give us that website address one more time?
Sure. It's www.oceansidecharitablefoundation.org. And there you can see more information about our past year's grant making. There's a great video on there that really kind of explains the concept of pooled philanthropy, which is on the rise in the United States. Together we can make much more of an impact rather than individually. And so that's the whole basis of what we are about. And you can also join the foundation. You can pick, monthly membership. All the different options are there. And also my contact information is there.
Great. Well, Estella and Colleen, I want to thank you for taking time to come on our show today and just share the work that Oceanside Charitable Foundation is doing on behalf of our community. And we wish you all the best going forward. And hopefully at some point in 2021, you'll be able to bring those events back and have those opportunities to personally introduce people to the work that you're doing.
Well, and thank you, Scott, for everything you're doing for Oceanside and our businesses. I think we're in a very similar line of work and appreciate all you do. So thank you.
All right.
Thank you for this opportunity, Scott.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Take care.